I'm traveling again, and I get asked quite often, what do I take with me when I travel? And I use this Nikon shoulder bag to carry all of my camera gear, minus my tripod, obviously. But all of the camera gear that I take with me on most trips fits inside of this bag. And it's actually very convenient because I can carry it on the planes, and this sits either by my feet or up in the overhead compartment. Now, this is only going to be the photography gear. I'm not going to cover the computer stuff that I bring, hard drives and things of that sort. So the main thing, and this is a new piece of equipment, is my GoPro Hero 9. That definitely goes inside of this bag. And we'll just kind of get over the top here. So the next thing that I carry with me, this is my Rode Wireless Go 2 microphones. And I carry these because when I'm making content or want to make content, it just makes it easier for me to get that wireless signal into the camera or whatever I'm shooting on. And there's some wires that go in here, but it's kind of hard to open this one-handed. The next thing is, well, we'll take out this lens. So this is my Tamron 24-70 f2.8 lens, and this is an EF mount lens, but I bring an adapter with me so that way I can adapt it. And currently the adapter is sitting on my Tamron 35-150. Now this is my typical going around and photographing whenever I'm out traveling lens. I really do enjoy using this particular lens. And then of course, attached to it, because I am using the Canon RF system, I have to have the EF to RF adapter, and that works perfect for these two lenses right here. All right. And what ends up happening, I get this question often, well, why do you bring two lenses that have the same focal range, right? 24-70 and then 35-150. Well, I use my 24-70 whenever I'm shooting in low light, and this is also really good for video, and this is purely for photography. I find that I photograph most of my images at around 5.6, and probably somewhere between 50 and 100 millimeters is like the focal length that I enjoy. And this gives me 50 additional millimeters if I need the reach. So this lens is like the perfect lens for my style of photography because I don't need those shallow depth of fields. And as long as I'm not shooting in low light, it's not a big deal. Now, the next thing, we'll grab the next pieces out of here. This is just a little Ulanzi, and see if we get that to focus. This is just a little Ulanzi tripod. I use this to put my phone on, so whenever I want to photograph stuff, or if I want to get really low. And then just a tripod mount here for my actual smartphone. This opens up, and then it has a little cold shoe mount on top of it. That way I can put a shotgun mic in here, or I can connect the receiver to the Wireless Go 2. And then of course there's the camera. You always got to bring your camera, and I usually always bring a prime lens with me. This time around I brought the 35 1.8, and this is just a phenomenal video lens, but it's also a great portrait lens and stills image lens. Now I am using the EOS R6 Mark II, and that's because this is my new primary camera, and I love, or I need to get more familiar with it and use it. And then of course I just have my Peak Design hand strap here with a Peak Design anchor point on the bottom piece, as well as an additional anchor point. And the reason I have that, if I set my camera back down, in this front zipper, I got my charger, because, you know, what's the point of having a camera with a battery if you don't have a charger? And yes, I only brought one battery for this trip. Most of the time I bring two, but this time I only brought one. And then I have a camera strap, and that's what the second anchor point is there for. So if I want to take off the hand strap that I have connected to the camera right now, I can just disconnect it from there, and then from the anchor point that's there, and I just use this to connect the camera to the shoulder strap, and it's good to go. I have two SD cards that are inside of the camera, and I always reformat them before. One is a UHS 2, the other one is UHS 1, and that's not as important other than the fact that, you know, it's worth just noting that I do have two SD cards. And then of course I have some cables that I carry with me, mostly adapter cables, and then a lens cap is in there, and an additional strap. This was helpful when I was carrying two cameras, but since I only carry one camera now whenever I travel, it's really just there because I was too lazy to take it out. And yes, I know I shoot Canon. I got this with my first Nikon camera, and I haven't stopped using it. Now on the top here, all I keep with me is, of course, a cleaning cloth for my lens. I want to keep that in there so it doesn't get anything on it. And then I have some very old, or not very old, but I have some old business cards, and this is just something that I would hand out to people as I would get questions about the photography that I was doing and things of that sort. I'd be able to hand them a business card and all will be well. So that's everything. Let me take it all out. I forgot to mention, I do bring this little Z mount, and it's not the Z mount like for a Nikon. It's, or I call it a Z mount. It's probably called something else. And what you can do is get some very unique positions by mounting this piece to the tripod down here, and then you put your camera on this part, and you can tilt your camera and get some overlay shots like so. So now I can tilt my camera face down. I can also bring it back this way. I can do some really cool stuff. This is just a little piece that I carry with me because I think that there is some value in having some cool things with you. And so here's just a quick look of everything that I carry with me whenever I travel. Again, this doesn't include my MacBook Air or my iPad Pro, as well as the cables that I need to run all of the things that I want to connect to it. But this is what is in my bag for photography. So if I didn't need to back up to a hard drive or anything of that sort, this is what would be inside of my bag and I carry with me. Now, this lens usually always travels with me, the 35 to 150. The 24 to 70, I like to bring with me. This is like my standard package, but I will swap this out for the 85 f2, or I'll swap this out for the 100mm macro if there's something that I know I'm going to be capturing while I'm out on a trip or something that requires something that has more compression and is a faster lens. Now, as far as what I put on the camera when I travel, it's usually always a prime, and it's either this 35, my 50mm, or my 16mm. I know that I'm not going to be needing a very wide angle lens, and between these two lenses, I already had the 50mm range covered. So that's why I chose the 35-1.8, just because this gives me one more stop of light than what I get with my 2.8, my 24 to 70 2.8. And then this is also a 2.8 to f4 lens. So that's the reason why I chose the 35 in the event that I need some more light. So hopefully that was helpful. Let me know what you carry with you whenever you go on trips or vacations or whatever it may be. What do you carry in your bag? And no, I didn't show the tripod because, I mean, I do have a tripod with me, but I don't feel like that was something worth talking about. I just put my tripod inside of my main check bag, but this is the stuff that I carry with me on the plane. So until next time, I want you guys to stay inspired and keep creating. Peace.